What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of B.O.P. We got the three-man crew in the building. This is your boy AD. We got Leo and we got Bab in the building. What up, fellas?
What's up?
Hey,
What's
hey.
up?
Let's talk about it. The Houston Texans had a game, y'all. They had a actual football game, not a practice, not a OTA. They had an actual football game, NFL football game last night in Houston, Texas. The Houston Texans defeated the New Orleans Saints 17-13 with a last minute touchdown to Johnny Johnson from the great Jeff Driscoll. But let's before we get into the game reaction and game breakdown, let's go around the league and let's talk about these scores. Let's talk about who played and what happened. We're going to talk about the division as well. And let's go ahead and talk about it. Anybody got the scores? I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't have the scores in front of me, but we can get them.
All right, let's go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Eddie.
Programming error. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So let's start with the early games, which were the Patriots and Giants. Giants beat the Patriots 23-21. Ravens and Titans. Ravens beat the Titans 23-10. Lions and Falcons. Falcons beat the Lions 27-23. Last second touchdown by Desmond Ridder won that game. Jets and Eagles 24-21. The Jets beat the Eagles. And you got the Bengals and Cardinals 36-23 Cardinals way. 49ers defeated the Packers 28-21. The Bears defeated the Chiefs 19-14. The Panthers defeated the Commanders 23-21. The Bills defeated the Colts 27-24. Steelers over the Seahawks 32-25. And you have the Dolphins beating the Buccaneers 26-24. Broncos defeating the Cowboys 17-7. Rams defeating the Chargers 29-22. And you have the Cleveland Browns defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars 24-13. But let's talk about these division games. Our counterparts, let's start with the most talked about, most highly anticipated game of the preseason, the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars, because Deshaun Watson stepped on the football field again for the first time in the last 18 months. Let's talk about how he performed. Shouldn't be that long because he didn't really do much of anything. I think it was one for 5 for 7 yards. Had some errant throws. They ran the ball a lot, kind of vanilla play calling a little bit, but he showed that he hadn't played in 18 months. But other than that, Jacksonville's defense, I will say, really looked a lot better. I think they played a lot more starters this game than they did in the Hall of Fame game. And I think I think their defense is something to watch. The offense, it may take some time with Trevor Lawrence and, trying to get adjusted, but they have potential there as well. What are y'all thoughts on the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Browns game?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Man, personally, dude, I went back and watched the first drive, like just to see what Watson looked like, and I actually thought he looked outside of the first throw. I thought he looked all right. He hit shorts right on the numbers, and then he evaded the rush and hit shorts again in the fucking helmet. You know what I'm saying? Like on the run. So I think that he'll end up playing decently if he plays. But I think Trayvon Walker played his ass off again. And I think that's a guy that is going to be an interesting matchup for our tackle combination. You know what I mean? And then they have a lot of speed and athleticism in the front seven now. Like I think that you can kind of take advantage of their secondary if you could protect the quarterback and just have chances to. But yeah, I think I think Lawrence showed that he can make some NFL throws. Also, I think one thing I was impressed with also was just Doug Peterson. I mean, they had some. I mean, I've seen a couple really nice red zone plays. So, I mean, I do think that they'll be better than last year. But like I mean, shit. It's just a preseason. So, you know.
Yeah, I think the big thing that stood out to me was just like we've been waiting an entire NFL season to see Travis Etienne. You know what I'm saying? So, he came in immediately and looked just like what he looked like in college. He is like a physical mismatch to most people on the field. He is big enough to play slot receiver, and then he's also just fast enough to be a slot receiver, right? But played running back all throughout college. So, had a couple really good, just like straight up the middle runs, but is also like a very legitimate weapon. He almost reminds me of like that Dexter McCluster type.
Right.
Like just utility type player where you can kind of just do whatever with him. But he looks really well put together, and there's obviously chemistry there with him and Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Jaguars have a bunch of names on defense, like a bunch of really good names.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I just felt like they left a lot on the field. I know it's vanilla preseason and stuff like that, but when you're watching, if you're comparing it to like watching like the Texans or something, Lovey's like scheming and he's like getting his guys in the right position. He's trying things and I feel like some of the things that Lovey does is just natural. Like it's kind of like cooking. Like anytime you start something, you throw some onions and garlic in the pan, and then what? You know what I'm saying? So like Lovey was like, all right, I'm gonna do this stunt now on 3rd and long, and I'm gonna get a sack. I just know it's gonna happen. You'd see Lovey just not even react to like big plays because he's like, I knew that was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get that vibe from the Jaguars, and they're like a team that could use someone like almost like a Romeo Crennel or like Wade Phillips, like revamp on like stunts and like blitzes and getting creative with their players. And I just didn't see any of that, whereas they have like the really high motor players to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they look good. Offensive line looks pretty good. They're going to be a good running team. You know what I'm saying? They've got 2 good running backs. So, yeah, maybe they can put it all together.
Yeah, and let's move along with the other 2 division games: the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. Malik Willis was the highlight for the Tennessee Titans. Actually played pretty decent. I think for the expectation for him, being a 3rd round pick and him coming in, I think that he played pretty decent. He showed the arm strength, he showed the mobility, he showed the versatility that way with him at quarterback. Any other thoughts you guys have on the Tennessee Titans as far as that game as well, or any players that stood out to you for Tennessee?
Um, the thought of Malik Willis, as the Texans are scheduled to make this ascend, the thought of Malik Willis like hitting his ceiling is like really, really disturbing. You know what I mean? Because like he has everything that people praise Josh Allen for. I think he has in his bag if he can mentally get there. I've seen someone break down a play that like it was like one of the first plays. I don't know if it was too much instant pressure where he had Burks like literally wide open. Like if it was coming open, it would have been like a 60-yard touchdown. So I don't know if it was like I think as we'll see if he could develop as a passer and what I'm saying, trust his, the play design rather than his athleticism. But I just feel like if he gets to the point where, he, is doing shit like that, bro, I mean, they might have, a franchise quarterback, which to me is fucking annoying as hell, but I mean, good for them, and we got to beat the best. So, but that's pretty much all I got to say about that shit.
Yeah, I mean, with Tennessee, you've got to look at Malik as like the main thing, like what's going on, right? But I think it's going to work in the Texans' favor at least for the first couple of years that he's there, because I think they're going to try and keep Tannehill as their guy until he just completely shits the bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like as soon as we start whooping their ass one game, I mean, they're going to be like, get Malik the fuck in this game, and then Malik is someone that like that like Lovie Smith wants to coach against.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where like the pressure is on Malik to make more passes, and you heard it, that was completely evident in his post game interview. You know what I'm saying? So if he's gonna be forced to make more passes, like sweet, just throw them our way. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
And moving on to the last game, let's talk about the Colts and the Bills and the I don't know the word to use. I want to say you know the wake of Matt Ryan.
oh,
Matt Ryan is about to have his funeral. He's that decrepit at this point in his career. It was a bad showing by Matt Ryan. He didn't really give any. If I that's just me as a Colts fan. If I was a Colts fan, he didn't give me any hope for productivity or kind of inspire me towards the season. Especially with the injuries that they have on the defensive side with Darius or Shaq Leonard or Shaquille Leonard is what he wants to be known by now. With him being out and him being a key cog of that defense, is their defense is going to take a hit. Um, but what are y'all thoughts about Matt Ryan and the Colts?
Man, shit. I'm trying not to overreact, but I was when I first was watching the game, I was like, damn, like this looks a lot worse than I thought it would, you know. Uh, but and I mean, it honestly kind of made me think like, dang, they're human. Like maybe the Texans actually do have a chance to, win 7 games because like if they're that damn bad, I mean, those games become winnable. But I mean, at the same time, you know, the defense didn't. I mean, they struggled stopping the run, but I feel like with those guys, you would assume, hopefully, like for them, they get to some point where that is better. But I mean, if that was who Matt Ryan is now, I think that we don't really have no one in the division. It really, really sets up Jacksonville very well if Trevor Lawrence takes a step forward. So I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, shit. I guess they were favorites to win a division this year. So, I mean, it's just one preseason game, but I mean, they definitely look very, very human and pedestrian. So, you know.
yeah, it's the tale of three different quarterback situations, right?
Mhm.
You got whoops, sorry, hold on 1 second. I was getting a damn incoming call. All right, it's the tale of three different quarterback situations. You've got the Matt Ryan situation where he should retire. You've got like the Trevor Lawrence situation where I think for the sake of the entire NFL, he just takes a step forward so that we can stop talking about it, right? And then you've got like the looming cloud of Malik Willis over Ryan Tannehill. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great situation to be in for the Texans. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just trying to wait and see what happens with their quarterback situation. Meanwhile, apparently we're cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I saw in that Colts game, man, is Quentin Nelson had some bad moments, man. He had somebody I think is Walker Little that
Mhm.
basically did that viral Jordan Davis clip of him in practice with the center.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, he had that moment. Walker Little had that moment on the old dude, man, and I was like, okay, maybe maybe we see something with Quentin Nelson, maybe having a little step back. We don't know, but he got handled a few times, in that manner. But that's something that may play itself out during the season as well. So we'll see. We'll watch on that. But let's talk about game day experience. I actually am a new season ticket holder, so I was in the building at NRG,
Hey,
and
congrats on that, AD. How long was your wait time again?
it was about 3 or 4 years that I was on the wait list.
God damn.
Golly.
So very, very happy that I got this,
Yeah, that's cool.
opportunity. Pretty good view, able to see the whole field. Different things that they've added as far as like they're very more interactive. Cecil Shorts is the kind of spokesperson for the interactive. He does most of the interviews on the field. Up top, they have this new section. I think it's like in the 500 or 600s where they have the they call it the deep steel blue thunder or whatever. They're like this, drumming band and DJ set at the little top with little flashing lights, that and they, kind of do all kind of giveaways. And in the game day experience, that's normal. They do these giveaways with Whataburger, with Chevron, with Kroger, whoever the sponsor is, they'll do all these little fun games and giveaways, and that's cool entertainment. But like I said, they actually had a girls flag football game at halftime,
Oh, cool. That's cool, man. I like when they do that too.
which was pretty cool because Fred Weary, who joined us on the podcast, on the space one day, he was coaching one team and Travis Johnson was coaching the other team.
Hey.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting, and like I said, Caesar Shorts was commentating the whole time, and he shows his personality, and that's something different with the game day experience. Concessions, they made a point about concessions. That is true. The prices have dropped significantly as far as like basic foods, hot dogs, chicken tenders, sodas, everything like that. But as far as the crowd and everything, this crowd compared to last year's crowd was a lot, even though it was a preseason game and it's a New Orleans Saints game, so you have fans from New Orleans coming in and everything like that, or Saints fans coming in the building. The stadium was live. It wasn't packed, but it wasn't empty either. It was quite a few people. It was coming in to enjoy the game, especially because I was on the visitor side, so I know it was a lot of Saints fans in the building on that side, but it was a hell of a lot of Texans fans on the Texans side and around. And you can, whenever it was game time, you can hear the crowd amping up, and you kind of felt it a little bit. But I do think that going forward, that the stadium will not be pedestrian like it was last year. I think the Texans organization has kind of rejuvenated the fan base in the sense that we know where we are now. I think the ghost of Deshaun Watson is out of the Texans' lives, so the fans know where the Texans are and what they're trying to do. So fans are starting to get more invested and starting to kind of have faith in the team and cheer the team on again. It helps when you win. When you win any game, it helps. Even if it's preseason, it helps. And in the manner that they won, it helps a lot too.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome, man. Yeah,
for sure.
But let's go ahead and get into the meat and get to the bone. Let's talk about the Texans preseason game and initial thoughts on the game, and then we're going to go ahead and do some breakdowns on from Davis Mills on to Dameon Pierce on to the defense on to the linebackers, secondary, and such on. What are y'all initial thoughts on the game?
Man, I'd like to kick it off if that's cool.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, I tell you what, it's nice to see that you can tell that there's coaches who know what the fuck they're talking about, when you're watching a football team, right? So, the first drive for the Texans was super vanilla, but apparently they just wanted Mills out there so that he could start using the terminology mostly. But also, they had to hand the ball off to Mac a couple of times to see what he looked like, banging pads, right? Apparently the Texans hadn't been full contact in practice at all.
They have. It just hasn't been
like 3/4, like 75%. Yeah. So they really wanted to get Mac a few touches and like get his pad level set and everything like that. But they wanted Davis out there adjusting plays and reading the line of scrimmage and stuff like that, and that's okay. It's the first preseason game. But anyways, I wanted the first drive to be really cool, and I wanted them to put something together. But now I understand, it's not a critical thing to see in the first preseason game. But I just wanted to touch on the coaches real quick. So, Lovey is in his fucking bag. Lovey Smith hasn't missed a beat his whole career, man. He can call the shit out of some defense, and I truly feel like we've put players around Lovey now that's like he's good. The only thing we can do is add to the top of the roster, right? That moves everyone down one spot, right? We can't put up anything else on the underneath the roster, right? Okay, that's it. We're good to the depth is so set on the defensive side, and you can just tell with what Lovey's doing. And then with the offense, man, Warhop has those guys like moving the fucking line of scrimmage. You know what I'm saying? We were doing so many plays where y'all notice one side of the line's just crashing. You know what I'm saying? They were sending Heck and like Sharping. They would just like both of them are just like turned completely right, crashing, not even going forward. You know what I'm saying? So some of those big Damian Pierce runs, you got 3 damn offensive linemen blocking one dude into other guys. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, damn, damn, it's about time we see some shit like this where, and you would have the fullback lined up on the totally opposite side of the where the play's going, and he's just he's blocking some random linebacker off the edge, but you would think about it and you go, oh shit, like that guy last year tackles fucking David Johnson for a 19-yard loss or some shit. It's like some bullshit, and then we get a holding call. You know what I'm saying? Like it's some shit like that, right? But I just wanted to say, watching the Texans play, you didn't feel like it was a bunch of fucking idiots out there. You know what I'm saying? It was legitimately like we were calling good plays against a good football team in the Saints. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and for me, it just you saw like you said, you saw a competent football team. You saw competent coaching. My biggest takeaway from the game, regardless of the players, was clock management.
Yeah.
Clock management, game management by Lovie Smith.
I didn't even think of that.
And wow. to put your team in a position at the end of the first half to even get in field position to kick a field goal, at the end of the half. And even though he missed it, you still put yourself in that position by using right clock management, using your timeouts correctly. And you even saw it at the end of the game to put yourself in the winning position at the end of the game, to call those timeouts, knowing you had a 2-minute warning, to call them and save yourself time, allowing basically Jeff Driscoll and the offense to have a full 2 minutes to drive down the field to score a touchdown. And, that, to me is hellified game management, hellified clock management. And to me, that's something that we were desperately missing, compared to last year. And to me, that was my biggest takeaway from the game, outside of the players, and the people, the guys making the plays, was just competent football and coaching and clock management.
Yeah, what do you think, Leo? You take anything away, like in general, without addressing like specific players?
I think, Bad, what you said was like pretty just true throughout like the whole roster. Like specifically when you're talking about adding to the bottom of the roster, I think when you're talking in spaces and stuff, like you see so many people that just want them to make some kind of move that in the end would just be a fucking lateral move that would just disrupt the locker room for like literally like a fourth running back. You know what I'm saying? A fifth receiver. Fifth receiver. I mean, like, so to me, like, what the fuck? Like, we're talking about like, guys that might play special teams, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, what the fuck? Like, so I think that's, to me, it's just true throughout the whole roster. You could tell, like, I think, obviously the haters are gonna, use every bit of ammo against Davis Mills. This was a very vanilla first 2 drives, and whatever. I was more so happy to see, like that, what I'm saying, Jalen Camp and Johnson like come and make plays like at critical points in the game. I know that there were some hiccups along the way, but I think when we talk about developmental wide receivers at the bottom of the depth chart, I mean, we have that already.
Yeah, exactly.
And moving towards a defensive line, I know we specific players, we're gonna leave that out right now, but we saw some interior defensive linemen that came in and played well. And I think it was just a good game. It went better than I thought it would go. You know what I mean? And I mean, shit. Like, I think it was a good showing. I think it was nice to see, Pep, running play. And what's crazy is that we still have no idea what the offense actually will look like. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, shit, it looked exactly like the damn Mills Stanford era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they were running those plays, and I was like, okay, goddamn, there's the offset eye.
It's a very classic offense.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know what I mean? So I mean, hell, it's just about execution at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And shit, I mean, that's pretty much it. And I think Lovey called a great game as well. So we'll just see. I think we got a lot of yeah. It's definitely a good starting point, and heading into the year, I definitely think that if we get beat, what I'm saying, it'll just be because we got beat, because like we were just saying, the top end of the roster.
Yeah.
And like I don't think it'll be because we just have complete incompetency everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will be losing games differently when we lose this year.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, AD? You want to jump into highlighting different players now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the game. Let's talk about the players. Davis Mills. We can start off with Davis Mills and how he looked. He came in, y'all have touched on it. Kind of very vanilla, kind of run the ball heavy. He only threw 3 passes. He was 3 for 3. I think it was 14 yards. He was okay. And I think that it's fine that he didn't play much or didn't show much. I'm fine with that. Just like you said, just him getting in there. I think for the Texans' perspective was just getting in there, getting his feet wet just a little bit, almost like sticking your big toe in the pool just to see if the water cold or not. And as far as that, you saw a lot of, if you want to start with offense, let's talk about offensive juggernaut Damian Pierce, who is, busting on the scene and making plays and playing with passion and power and aggressiveness. And he's showing that in practice, he's showing that on the field. And it's good to always see what you see in practice translate to actual game time footage. What he does on the game in game time. And then you have your developmental receiving core with Jalen Camp, with Johnny Johnson, who had a mishap early in the game where, let the ball hit him in the face and, on a crucial conversion, first down conversion that he could have had to keep the drive going, kind of killed the drive. But then you make it up by making a big play to get down in the red zone and then scoring the game-winning touchdown. So you see development plays with Jalen Camp, who also, honestly, watching it live, he beat his man about 3 or 4 times and could have scored maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns, wide open passes. Better quarterbacks would have made that throw, would have been touchdowns. Especially, I think it was 2 of the interceptions Jeff Driscoll had were to Jalen Camp. They were just underthrown balls. Jalen had the guy beat on both those passes and probably would have scored.
Yeah, and they weren't like joker corners either. I mean, he was going up against like second team corners, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Tight end room needs some help desperately.
Yeah.
Farrell Brown didn't play much. Brevin Jordan left a lot on the table. As far as like he's another one that had a crucial conversion drop, hit him right in the hands, dropped the ball. He's supposed to make that catch. You at this point in time, you trying to solidify yourself as a starting tight end in this league. You make those catches. Seth Green played a hell of a lot. He did okay. He also had drops, and so that that goes back to the concerning element of the tight end room needs help desperately. Kind of signals why the Adam Shaheen trade was initiated, and it kind of gets your eyes poking around about what they're about to do in that tight end room as well. Final thoughts on the offensive line. They there you see a more cohesive group, but you still see the lack of talent in that room.
Mm.
I was surprised to not see Cedric He play. He did not play last night, and it was the Charlie Heck show, Austin Deculus and Trevor's Wallace Sims playing a lot on that offensive tackle room and rotating in and out with those guys. So I was surprised. I was surprised about that, and the interior offensive line needs a hell of a lot of help. I was, if Kenyon Green is going to miss any extended period of time, we got to find some kind of resolution or find some kind of backup. Justin McCray as a guard is a disappointment. As a guard. Now, in practice, I've seen him play pretty damn well as a center, which is probably what he's more suited to be, is a center rather than a guard. But as a guard, he was getting his ass whooped, a lot. Jordan Stickler, a lot of holding penalties on him. And I think the other guard was Cunningham, if I'm not mistaken. Myron Cunningham, the rookie.
Yeah, Can did start though.
Yeah, Can started, and that to me that sounds like the what's the guy we got from Miami last year? Lawson.
Mhm.
Can is looks like he may be the Lawson of this year's free agent signing.
Man.
Hey man, well you gotta you miss what's the saying? You miss 100% of shots you don't take.
Right.
So
you took a shot, and it leads me to believe that when everybody's healthy, your starting guards are going to be Max Sharping and Kenyon Green. And I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
If you put AJ Can out there, you just gotta pray to God, that Davis Mills survives, because AJ Can ain't it. Quisenberry, it's not much to say. He played, but
Let's talk about the offense a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we can kind of divide it up. So I think, where Sharping didn't start, right? He was killing everybody on the Saints like second and third unit, right? Especially in the run game. I mean, Sharping was getting like he would dominate the defensive tackle across from him and get up to the second level so fast. You know what I'm saying? So the athleticism obviously took a jump this year, right? Because he's moving so much better, right? We've always thought, I think this is going to been the consensus for the whole podcast, has been Sharping is just not a tackle and not really a guard, right? So, and that's just kind of what we've seen throughout his career, right? And I feel like really he looked like a lean guard is what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? When he was playing out there, he moved really well. But yeah, the offensive line and the tight end room, I think truly are the only two positions where we don't even have the depth established to add a supreme talent over the top. You know what I'm saying? Really, every other position on the team, you've at least got the depth established, right? At least, right? Even safety, even corner. I feel like you've got that established, right? Okay. But really, when we're just sticking to the offensive side of the ball, shit, man, the interior offensive line that they put out there to start the game was just putrid, right? Like there was no leap forward this year. So addressing it with a first round draft pick in Kenyon Green and then signing AJ Can, and that's all you did. You signed a couple of like bottom of the barrel, free agents to come fill in roster spots. But I don't think that group got any better until, Green feels comfortable and he's out there playing, But yeah, Leo, you want to touch on the offensive line at all?
I mean, From the first play of the game, I mean, literally the
Yeah,
first play of the game, like
totally whiffing on the blitz.
he is blown. I mean, Mac damn near got decapitated by
Yeah,
whoever the hell it was.
Hansen. Yeah,
Hanson, yeah. And I mean, so yeah, it sends me into that space where we were before the draft, where I'm like, we have a looming tackle situation going on, and we hope Kenyon Green is who we all know that he can be. And then what the hell are we gonna do at center and guard at the other guard spot? Um, this is going to be probably the one thing that I feel like gives Davis Mills the roughest chance to actually become, a franchise quarterback. Not only solidifying the run game, but just giving him a chance to like protect himself. So it's something definitely that I'm worried about, and I think that the good thing is that it's so bad that like it can be improved upon easily. But at the same time, like I think you know, hopefully we have a lot more drafts that draft picks that are possibly boring to most of the fan base, because like we need to fix this shit, or what I'm saying. I
yeah.
mean that was like a dry ass joke, but
Nah, yeah.
I mean like it needs to be done. And like I hate to talk about this shit, but it's crazy to me that like we're possibly about to pay the fuck out of these two tackles and still have a shitty offensive line because of what the fuck is around them.
What's crazy is I felt like the bright spot last night was Charlie Heck. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, bro, Charlie Heck was out there. I mean, man, even just like at left tackle. I mean, there was plays where, I truly felt like, okay, here's why I wanted to mention the coaching staff, and it was specifically because I went back and I watched Charlie Heck this morning, like when I was watching the game like rewind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And man, they didn't ask Charlie Heck to go out there on an island and block a defensive end in a run play. You know what I'm saying? They didn't ask him to just kind of grab the guy and power, rush straight up, like power one-on-one blocking.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking Heck to like crash, you know what I'm saying, right side, and allow the flow of the play to leave the defensive end on an island.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did that, look what Dameon Pierce did straight away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They did a stunt with the defensive end and the defensive tackle. So the defensive tackle comes across, and as the defensive end's coming across, Charlie Heck grabs that dude and throws him into the fucking linebackers. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, shit, man, what the hell? Like, Charlie Heck is fucking moving. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And on that same play, that's where I was talking about. Sharping just blows up the defensive tackle and gets straight over into the linebackers. So in that play, we had we had their front seven in such hell. I mean, 6 of their dudes were ate up by 5 of our offensive linemen, right? And then Dameon Pierce just had to juke a defensive tackle. Like that's all that needed to happen for him to get 20 yards. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I thought that was sick. But I mean, AD, what's a position group maybe on offense that stood out to you? Let's talk about like a specific player maybe.
Jalen Camp. I mean, of course, the easy one is Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, so Dameon Pierce ended up being like player of the game or rookie of the game or rising star of the game.
Yeah, he was offensive. He was for sure offensive player of the game.
Yes. So one shy of 50 yards, right? Mm-hmm. Ran the ball super well. But I just wanted to mention one thing. So there was only one like pretty bad injury for where a Saints player needed to come off the field with help, right? Mm-hmm. And it's because Dameon Pierce almost broke him in fucking half on a pass block. I mean, I need to find the clip and maybe we can upload this, right? Mm-hmm. But so I think it was Hansen, literally. You know what I'm saying? So they're blitzing number 40. He's coming downhill. And I mean, Pierce just crunches this dude. This dude needs to go see a chiropractor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he folded him, right? And I was just like, damn, dude. Dameon Pierce, it's a wait and see, right? Yeah. Mac didn't really show me anything where I've got to be like, all right, like, there's going to be a competition here. But if Dameon Pierce does it again, I mean, sign me up. Dameon Pierce is week 1. He's starting. He needs to, right?
And with that being said, it kind of leaves you to figure out. I mean, a wonder. Just like the tight end room needs help, you need help behind Damian Pierce and Rex Burkhead and hey, can't believe I'm saying Rex Burkhead and Marlon Mack. You need help behind them because you don't have anybody. Because Royce Freeman, man, ain't it?
Yeah, they weren't looking good. They weren't looking good.
Royce Freeman ain't it, and they barely played Dari. I think he played a handful of snaps, and he was playing the Rex Burkhead role where he was just going out and swing passes. He didn't run the ball at all.
And then Emmons didn't play.
Yeah, Emmons didn't play, and that's kind of expected because he just got here a few days, and you don't want to just throw somebody out there after one day of practice. So that's understandable. And the receiving room shows potential. And a lot of the commentary from the Texans fans coming into the game, because Kyle Allen missed the game with COVID, that you weren't going to get a good look at the bottom half of the receivers, the Weddingtons, the Camps, the Johnny Johnsons. You weren't going to get a look because Jeff Driscoll was playing quarterback. Well, what does Pep Hamilton do? He says, okay, I'm going to give you a look because I'm going to open a playbook up. And I don't want to say he opened the playbook up because some of the play calls he had were still vanilla play calls. I just think that we as a fan base are so used to Tim Kelly and Bill O'Brien and the limited and just kind of not non-ingenuity of the offense that they had. I think Pep Hamilton, even during the game, showed that he's an innovator and showed that he can, kind of upgrade the playbook. And I think you're going to see a lot more nuance in the offense when the playbook is fully open.
Yeah.
But he let Jeff Driscoll sling it.
He sling it to the other team a couple of times, or three times.
Yeah. A lot of times, 3 times. But Jeff Driscoll is not a passer of the football. But he made plays, and the trust that Pep Hamilton had in him, the fact that you're still gonna give your receivers that opportunity to kind of show what they got, even after throwing 3 interceptions, and you're still going down there throwing the ball, deep passes and everything, shows the confidence that Pep Hamilton wants to instill in these younger receivers that, hey, I'm not, even though the guy is not here that can get you the ball, I'm still going to, develop these plays and call these plays for you guys to have the opportunity to get the ball. Chris Moore solidified himself. To me, I think he solidified himself over Philip Dorsett as the slot receiver. So you're looking at your top 3 receivers is Cooks, Collins, and Moore. And Conley played okay. He really didn't play much, and Dorsett looks like he could be on the roster bubble.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the potential, this is what I didn't mean to cut you off, AD. I'm sorry, but I mean, there's obviously going to be one player that I'm going to talk about a lot on the defensive side of the ball. Is kind of a told you so. But somebody who jumped off the page or jumped off the screen for me, really, I think the most out of the entire game was Johnny Johnson, and it was because the dynamic plays. He was obviously playing nervous, right? I mean, I would be too. Undrafted free agent, trying to make it. You're in your first NFL game, right? Your quarterback is fucking dog shit, right? Can't do shit. Like everything's stacked against you, right? So when he actually got the ball in his hands, man, seeing what he did under pressure and with those nerves with the ball in his hands on that first catch was incredible. I did not know he was that type of athlete. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't just everywhere in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Dudes who can move like that. I mean, he was juking all over the place. He hit that damn spin button like 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude was just going crazy. And then I did not know Jalen Camp could separate like that. I mean, Jalen Camp's route tree should be just 3 routes, right? You need to put him out at the Z, right? And just you have him going, all right, you're running a 9, you're running a post. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he flashed a hell of a lot. Like I said earlier, it was like 2 or 3 times that he beat the cornerback and literally no safety help over the top. It would have been an easy score for him.
Yeah.
Multiple times. And I look at it and I know people always want to say, well, hold your horses and everything like that. Not going, you got to go into positivity mode. My thing is, what if he would have caught those few passes and the stat line was like 130 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, what, 8 or 9 catches?
We would be talking about a
You would be
different, yeah.
right. You'll be talking about him as solidifying himself on the roster. A lot is gonna, you're gonna play a lot more. Let me put it like this: being at the game, the Saints didn't play a hell of a lot of people. The Saints held out, between the Tyrann Matthew, Jarvis Landry, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Cam Jordan, just a hell of a lot of players in street clothes. None, really didn't have many suiting up. I don't even what's his name? The right tackle didn't play. Ramchek didn't play. So they had a lot of people that were out. So you really didn't get a hellified look on against the Saints. But for damn sure you're gonna get it coming against the Rams, and for damn sure you're gonna get it. Well, not in the last preseason game, but for those guys that are on the bubble. Because I think only 10 players are going to be cut between now and the third game. If I'm not mistaken. 5 on Tuesday and then 5 on the 23rd. So you're only going to have 10 people cut, but and those players really didn't flash or do anything anyway. But it's very, very interesting to me that the Texans made these, all-season signings that are probably on the roster bubble to get cut. Bringing back Philip Dorsett, he's on the bubble. Andy Janovic, the fullback, is on the bubble to get cut. Quisenberry, the brother that plays fullback, has outplayed him and solidified himself as a starting fullback for the team. You look at switching over to defense. You look at Jalen Reeves-Maybin. These $4 and $5 million signings that we had looks like they're on the roster bubble to get cut. So that's just an observation. But going back to the main topic is that I'm glad that we get to see Jalen Camp, who I feel like he solidified himself with a roster spot. Johnny Johnson as well played really, really well. I don't see what the fascination that people had with Chad Beebe. Really don't see it at all. And Connor Weddington leaves a lot to be desired as well. So
I think yeah, at this point, AD, and y'all can touch on this too. The promise that Camp and Jalen Johnson show, and especially if they have a quarterback like Mills throwing them the ball, who's got great accuracy, I mean, they are going to get a lot of perfect opportunities placed right in their lap, right? Like for example, like that Driscoll 9 route that he throws to Camp and it's underthrown, right? That's a touchdown for Mills. You know what I'm saying, right? I think the promise that they show makes it pretty obvious who the 6 receivers should be for the Texans, right? So you would have Cooks, Conley, Collins, Chris Moore, Camp, and Johnny Johnson. You should just go with the youth infusion there and let those guys just give them an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? What do you need from a Dorsett? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Not that damn much.
Yeah, not really.
I mean,
but y'all agree about those 6?
Yeah.
And let's talk about the actual highlight of the game, the highlight side of the ball, which was the defense. The defense played their asses off. You like,
wow.
Like you look at after the first drive.
Hey, wait, AD, go through the stats, man.
Turnover, man. We got 3 freaking turnovers, man.
Of course, right?
That staple of Lovey has transitioned over, which was my big concern. Would that translate? Because you were topping the NFL in turnovers last year and takeaways. would that translate, into this year? And it just,
Look what happened straight
you
away.
know,
Yeah.
turnover, 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 and that's what the Texans are probably going to be known for, and what Levy's defense coaches and preaches. Um, to me, you look at the position group. I was very surprised by the defensive line. Um, Reserves, the Kurt Hennishes, the Dwan Fours, and the Damian Daniels and Thomas Booker's, those guys that rotated in and out throughout the whole game. Yeah, they got gashed on a few plays, up the middle in the run game, but they showed promise as far as like pursuit to the quarterback. Um, you know,
5 sacks.
yeah, 5 sacks, double O,
Man,
probably one of the star players, if not the, defensive MVP of the game last night. He had 2 sacks, but he had multiple chances to get maybe about 4 or 5 sacks. He was at
yeah.
the back. A lot just whiffed at the very beginning, but once he got home, it was almost like it just lit the fuse for him to keep going.
He's
Um,
one of those guys who shouldn't have been in the game that long.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, but it's a good thing, so everybody can get a look at him, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does on next Friday. And then let's talk about the linebacker core with Blake Cashman showing up with all the injuries at the linebacker position, with Christian Harris being out, Ruja Hill being out, Christian Kirksey being out. It allowed him to kind of show up and play, and kind of really play well, and kind of maybe solidify himself as one of those 6 linebackers on the team.
Did you feel
Um,
like Cashman played himself into the fourth linebacker role?
I don't, because I'm still holding my hope with Wallow. I think it's going to be a battle between him and Wallow.
So
Wallow didn't play as well.
here, yeah. So here's what I was gonna say, just to interject on that. Ad,
Mhm.
I don't think Kamu played well at all,
Kamo
and the
didn't- he
he,
didn't
he
play.
what
I don't think Kamo played, did he?
Kamu was out there.
Yeah, he played. He just didn't do
Well,
shit.
Hey, no, but listen. Kamu was getting turned around. He was getting bullied in the run game,
Mhm.
over pursuing, not holding his assignment. I mean, the touchdown happened because of Kamu.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and I
And
made
so,
this. Go ahead, my bad.
no, it's okay. So what I was gonna say is, Wallow is gonna replace him easily.
Hmm.
Like really, if Wallow comes in and even does an ounce more than what Kamu was showing out there, Kamu's going to be an easy bench, man. And I mean, if you throw Kamu down to the bench and he's back on his bullshit with the special teams, Reeves Maven is out of here.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't doing shit, So, but I think the thing with Cashman, I mean, he had 7 tackles.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then that insane pass breakup. I mean,
Yeah,
y'all saw what he did to get the pass broken up. I mean, yeah. I thought Blake Cashman was he's up there in my like top 5 best players that I saw last night.
yeah, and hot take, non-hot take. I think that I posed this question last night when I was on the Spaces: is that does Blake Cashman allow you to cut Kamu Grugier Hill? And if Cashman continues to play like that, then that goes another back to those signings I was talking about earlier. Those $4 or $5 million signings that you had with those guys, and then you end up cutting them. He's another $4 million player that we signed. That probably won't make it.
But AD, this is kind of going against the things that we were kind of talking about, right? Where we were like, we got to build a culture, we got to have guys in here that do a certain thing, we got to build our locker room guys. The new people we're bringing in are better. You know what I'm saying? But it's because we brought in a bunch of lower value guys to replace everything on the roster, right? Yeah, I think it's a good problem to have, right?
And let's move on to the secondary. Let's touch on the secondary. Jalen Petrie, ball magnet. I think we've talked about that to wits end with Jalen Petrie. If he doesn't do anything else, he's gonna find the football and
Yeah.
be able to play football. And he showed that in last night's game. Um, he was pretty effective. A lot of him being on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, semi linebacker position. Not much deep compared to what we've seen in practice, where he's played a lot deep. They played a lot of single high safety in this game, with Owens and Brooks being those two, interchanging in the deep safety portion. Secondary has a lot of questions outside of your starting, corners. Get them, you know, kind of helter skelter. Fabian Moreau ain't it. You know, and I was now you looking at your cornerback depth, and it's like, well, what do you have outside of Nelson and Stingley at your corner position? And that may be something that they address as well on the waiver wire. So we were kind of struggling right there because, to be honest, New Orleans, anything from line of scrimmage to 20 yards up, New Orleans could get it with these. They were beating the linebackers like crazy. Kevin Pierre-Louis got beat a few times. Tay Davis at the end of the game was getting beat up quite a few times. Even though he has excellent speed, he was moving around all over the place. But it's just a process, and I think that the defense, as stout as they were, still has some flaws, and you still see things that they need to work on. But to hold the New Orleans Saints to 13 points, regardless of who's playing, who's not playing, they still had Callaway playing in the fourth quarter. So you still have one of those, kind of guys that they rely on in the receiving court playing in the fourth quarter, and he was still making plays. So, it's a testament to the defense and the coaching. But I feel like it's going to be more of a test next on Friday than it will be on anything. But what are your thoughts, Leo?
Yeah, man. I mean, I was impressed by Petrie, man. One of my favorite players in the draft, and I think starting off from like pretty much immediately, like he was making plays in a tone setter. So I mean, I'm excited, and I mean, just as we were talking, what I'm saying, the cornerback room in secondary in general still is a work in progress, and the main thing that I thought initially was like, man, shit, well, like, how can we improve? You know, we have all these picks, and in actuality, it's not like that many picks. We're a lot of these picks are gonna be used to, what I'm saying, move up and all this shit. So we're probably gonna be adding 7 players every draft that are specific, players that we target, what I'm saying? And at least in a certain range of, like, that are on our board. So like I'm thinking, man, there's obviously a chance that we can, what I'm saying, draft a guy, opposite of Stingley. But as we're talking, and like, we're talking about how the roster improved, what I'm saying, off of just what we just saw last night. I am completely confident in Casario for, and when it comes to, like, what I'm saying, doing things to patch up the holes that he can't draft, what I'm saying, free agency, then, what I'm saying. So like I think we're in a great spot, what I'm saying. Like I'm not gonna talk wins and shit, but I think going forward, bro, I think that, what I'm saying, we'll be back to where we were, what I'm saying, winning divisional championships and all that shit. And I mean, hopefully doing more than that, making deeper playoff runs, what I'm saying. So, I'm happy about this, man. And then I mean, hell, Stingley didn't even play. What I'm saying? Kenyon Green didn't even play. So I think we're in a great spot, bro.
Yeah. Just a few players to talk about, quickly, just to run through. They had decent games. Derek Rivers had a um pretty good game at defensive end. Flashed a little bit. Don't know if he's going to make the roster, but he showed that he can still get out there and play. He's a big guy, that played pretty well. Um, I think I mentioned Kurt Henish, but Kurt Henish, as an undrafted rookie, came in and showed up and was one of those guys that really kind of opened eyes for a lot of people, especially probably the coaching staff. You can almost sense in Lovey's interview post game, and when he talking about Kurt Henish, it was almost like he was a little bit surprised, even though Kurt Henish has flashed in practice. It's one thing, like I said with Damian Pierce, it's good to see it translate to the game. So yeah, he's on the smaller side, but you know, if he can, if anything, he solidified himself as a practice squad player for the Texans.
Mhm.
Potential to give them depth. Want to see more of Damian Daniels. Want to see more of Dornfor going forward to see what those guys do. Those are bigger guys that should help in the run game.
Mhm.
But other than that, man, overall, good game for the Houston Texans. It was, like I said earlier, it was good to see a W. It was, exciting, crowd, rejuvenated, into the game. Um, all in all, man, just it's a lot of positivity going forward, man.
Yeah.
Not too many negatives, we got I'm not even gonna touch on those guys, that play like dog shit, but let's just keep on moving, man. And we got more to come, man. We got a few days, not even a week. We got another game Friday against I'm about to say St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams.
Mhm.
The LA Rams on Friday, 9 Central. We're gonna give our preview for that game, on the next episode. But other than that, man, good vibes, good vibes. Any last final comments from you guys or anything like that?
Ross Blacklock should be unemployed. So.
We're not gonna start a riot with the hashtag sorry ass Ross Blacklock. But anything from you, Leo?
Nah, man. Uh, it's just gonna be a funny ass day when a lot of these people that what I'm saying are getting defended so heavily and so I don't know it's gonna be funny as hell when when they're not on the team and it's a lot of stupid ass whatever.
Yeah. But other than that, man, good vibes. Like I said, Texans dub, pull it in. And let's get ready for week 2 of preseason. See what these first 5 cuts gonna be on Tuesday. We'll go from there, man. But this is AD with the B.O.P with Bab and Leo. We're gonna sign off and we'll see y'all next time. Please like, share, and subscribe.
All right.